Hey Casey, morning, evening,
Morning. Morning in Peru. Good evening over there on the down under.
down under on the west side. Yeah, so I've been watching the news, all these things happening. I kind of feel like I want to get out of where I am, and I don't really know where to go. Somewhere
That's
free.
a good, like there's people that swear that Australia is like one of the best places to go and visit, the people, the places. I've heard people that have been world travelers that say Australia is their number one go-to.
It is.
But yeah, with the way that the government's been, that they're just like draconian laws,
Hmm.
the way that they have changed, like, the limiting people's freedom of movement there. It's like a no-go for me. Like at this point, just after the lockdown, I wouldn't go to Australia anymore. But like that begs the question, where? Like here I'm in Peru, and I think the fact that I live in rural parts of Peru and I'm pretty much off grid, that it's allowed me a lot of freedom. But in general, just in general, I think I would like to explore the world more and see if there are other options. I have a family now, I have a young daughter, so I'm considering like where would I want to end up for her to grow up? And I don't know. Like Europe does sound interesting too, but they've had a lot of lockdowns and issues there. There's lots of violence. There's like stabbings every day in Germany. There's like, just horrible assaults throughout Europe that weren't there a decade ago. And it makes it unsafe for the people to go to streets, use public transportation. The school systems have changed, curriculums, the laws are like favoring immigration over the locals. And so it's like, yeah, I like the idea. We've talked a lot about it, just living in rural parts of Europe. And I think there is still something to be done with that. Like the farther north we go, I think the better we're going to be because, you know, the cold itself is like a filter.
True.
But
I mean, I don't know. I heard real estate's pretty cheap-ish, like in Romania. There's a few
yeah,
seems to be the place to be at the moment. I don't
I
know
think Romania,
why.
yeah, it's like the architecture, the old world building, gorgeous. It's one of my favorites.
Beautiful.
And I thought about Russia just in general too, just go a little bit further east there. Like I know it's all a show, so that's why I don't really want to fall for it. But they seem to have more like defensive Christian values. I think that's the thing that allows like civilizations to thrive and go ahead is when you have like a Christian basis for morality for the society.
Mm, I agree.
Um, and the Putin guy, whoever he is, I don't know if that's the original Putin or not, but he says as like an open invite for Christians around the world to go there and kind of like seek that lifestyle and that sort of protections.
Mm.
I've seen places like Poland and Hungary seem really appealing. They've managed to have the immigration under control over the last decade, and their economies reflect that. Their society reflects that. Um,
Yeah,
but
bit cold.
I think it needs to be a bit of travel, honestly. I think we need to just figure out how we can just make the best of this world. Travel, spend some time in Italy, Romania, maybe
I
up
mean, I,
north.
ideally, that'd be great. Have multiple locations, but I don't know how easy travel's going to be in the future.
Private jet, my friend. Either that or our own boat. I don't think they're going to be able to control the waterways, even though it's going to be like we'd probably spend like 2 months out of the year on the boat traveling to these places. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, but it all costs money and time. 2 hours, 2 days, 2 years, and 2 months is quite a while on the sea. But we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? Is this going to turn into some apocalyptic world? with all this situation that's going on. Travel might be very tricky in the next few years, but we'll see. I mean, you kind of want to go to the freest place you can find. I mean, a lot of people flock to Mexico, but like you said, the mafia seems to be taking over there.
Yeah, Max went there, and even where he stayed down in like where's he at? Cancun? No, he's not. He's in
Acapulco, I believe. I think
but
Acapulco.
he was there's government offices on fire, just like even where he's at. So
It was, yeah. It was. So yeah, I don't really know.
I think I'm going to apply my understanding of law freedom, to get outside of this. I realize this is happening to the populations out there, affected by the lockdowns, the mandates, food sovereignty, things of this energy issues, all that. But I feel what I've discovered about law over the last 10 years or so more that yeah, it's easy to do. Like I've just been applying it to my vehicles, but I can apply it to boats, I can apply it to planes. It's actually the laws I've been studying are ocean maritime laws. So I feel like we would be able to travel freely by boat and I could just create proper paperwork. But yeah, like I wanted to do a shipping company, right? Because I'm sick of like the laws governing tariffs and governing like government corruption. And by the time you get like a pound of chocolate out of Peru, it's already $60 a pound or six, maybe 30 a kilo actually. I'm thinking in kilos here. It's like, how do you make any profit on that? That was just like to grease the hands of the government and it across the border.
Yeah, right.
But like with my own export and import, I think I can handle it. So yeah, that's an inspiration. That's something I think I'd like to do. Inspire others to do the same, to step outside of the democracy, outside of the federal protections of governance. So yeah, just got to get your feet wet, I guess. Got to get out of here, turn this over, move on to different pastures.
Yeah. See where the ocean takes you. See where the waves take you. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Australia's great. It's a lovely place to come on holiday, and it's beautiful and all of that. But yeah, since COVID, well, I've never had faith in the government here, but since COVID, yeah, it's their draconian measures and their laws have just ruined everything. So freedom is definitely not something that we are feeling out here at all, and it's getting worse and worse. And the cost of living is just getting, especially in the city where I live, it's just getting ridiculous. Rentals are through the roof. Can't even find a rental. Um, even houses to buy, it's super expensive and there's not many on the market. So, and immigration's a big thing here. Apparently there's 1,000 people immigrating every week, and we just got nowhere to put them. We've got nowhere to put people. So I don't understand what's going on here. I really have no idea. So yeah, things are not good. I've been here for 2 months now, and I'm like, this is really hard. It's really hard to find even a place to live. So yeah.
When do you finish up your classes? You're taking classes at the moment, right?
Yeah, it's still a couple months away, that is. I'd
And
say.
maybe make that point,
What's that?
then make a move at that point, perhaps.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes me a bit more autonomous. I can work from a laptop,
Mm.
and probably anywhere in the world. So that's kind of the idea why I, you know, went into the counseling field, and there's no
That's
shortage of mental health issues.
Yeah, I think things are starting to shape up to create like a counseling service using, this business here, if you want to call it a business. But got
Yeah.
a couple people already on board, and I think we can start, creating a landing site and all of that sort of thing.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I'm down for that. That'd be great. because that's my issue is kind of like, how do I filter, how do I get clients, how do I drive traffic to starting out with? So yeah, it's something we could talk about later. And I guess essentially it's just about creating that autonomy, while for me, while doing something that I love and enjoy and, providing a service.
Thought I had it under control, this whole like where's the best place in the world to live, but the parameters have gotten so tight lately that I know I need to do more research. I know there's odd countries out there, very obscure places that don't get a lot of traffic, that do have very independent laws. I just need to do more research in those areas, figure out if there's a way to get
Well, I mean,
citizen.
how would you exactly how would you move there? What, just become a citizen or marry a local?
Yeah, whatever, buy land, make a donation,
That's
just,
always the way.
start a business there.
Yeah. I mean, pick a place where you'd like to
So
live, really.
if we get this online, you could be like, "Hey, anybody in the comments have any suggestions out there? I'm
Yeah.
looking to live.
Please
Love to hear your feedback."
give us any information. Where would you want to live if you could? If you can, what's the freest place to live? I don't even know where anymore.
And I've been thinking about Venezuela for the last several years. I think it's going to be the new Dubai. And probably over the next 10, 20 years, I think it's going to explode. It's going to be the hub of the hemisphere. The way we're, it has the most gold reserves in the world, has the highest oil reserves in the world, all in this tiny little country in the Caribbean. And it's gorgeous, beautiful beaches, cool culture, food's all right. The women there are known for like their beauty. They win the I don't know, Miss America pageant more than anywhere.
True. That's true. It's always they're a nice blend, and they're on the yeah, right near the Caribbean. It's actually a
Right on.
perfect place, but I've heard it's pretty violent. I mean, if you Google it, it says definitely don't travel there.
Well, of course, Google says that, but violent, I don't know.
You been there?
I've been to Colombia. That seems violent to me.
Would be
But it's like anywhere I've been, like Houston, Texas is violent. Los Angeles is violent.
true.
Phoenix is violent. It's like just you gotta know where to go, where not to go at night or wherever it's at.
It's
And
true.
so like yeah, good touristy zones, good places that have security. That's how they do it here in Peru. And I don't even people think this is a violent country. Like I even live in like some of the wildest west that you can get to. Like I'm on the end of the highway in the Peruvian Amazon. This is definitely like a Wild West area, I'd say. People just invade, take land. They have scams. Everything's a scam. There's all kinds of piracy taking place out on the river. Tourists can't even get out there anymore. There's even like crazy shit, like, organ harvesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I think.
Have you heard of like the face peelers phenomenon? Take it to a dark place here pretty quick, but it's actually getting mainstream. I've seen people do podcasts on it, like some pretty big names. Uh,
Go on. I've heard some stuff, but what is that in Peru that's happening?
Particularly in Peru. Yeah, that is happening. It's
Yeah,
like even so, like, there's that go deep into the jungle, people just start accusing you of it and using an excuse to rob you, just to keep like just travelers away, foreigners away.
mm,
I don't know. I think it's like a form of organ harvesting. I don't know why they do that to the face necessarily, but there is one eyewitness account of what happened. This one young woman that actually broke free, but she's just very traumatized. There's only one person that I've ever heard of that actually gave their testimonial what happened, and it's crazy. It's absolutely nuts. Like even for me to relate it to you right here, what happened, but because it brings up all kinds of questions, right? But what she says happened is it was two men. dressed all in black uniforms, no like insignias really, just kind of like SWAT gear, almost is what she described, with the helmets, everything, right? But black, everything black.
Mm.
But here comes the crazy. They were on hoverboards.
Mm.
Hoverboards. Both
Interesting.
of them had their own little disc hoverboard that they were hovering on, scanning, going right over the top of like the canopy. And they came into her area, and she was separated from her family or friends. She was out bathing, doing something, her evening routine, just like where she always goes. And these two men had, or beings,
Mm.
individuals, uh, saw her and saw her as like one of their victims, because this is the thing that goes on there. Like this is in the rural communities, these face peeler things, and they come down to her. They do some sort of like a sound thing or like something that stuns her, and she's like not able to like scream out. And they go up and like one of them grabs her, but she's still able to struggle, and she's struggling, and they like put this like foam around her face, like a numbing agent. And she says she's like freaking out. She's like doing her best to break free, and she manages to get her hand up, and
Mm.
under like the mask, they have like these like helmet masks, like breathing things on, and she like messes it up enough that he loosens her grip, and she gets away, and she gets down, and then the other guy goes for her to grab her, but at that point she's able to scream. She
Right.
lets out a, other people hear her and are starting to respond and come to the area. And so these guys at that point just like they're like screw it. They get on they're on their boards already. I don't know if they're on and off of it. I don't think they have to come off of it. They have such good control of it. They can just kind of come way down close to do all this. But then they break. They get out of there. And so she gets away with it. But she's like, she's messed up. She's like, she's not going out alone, being alone at all anymore. And so like she Western media hears about her. There's this guy that does podcasts, and he does all this like research in South America. He's gone to like monasteries and interviewed Catholic priests and things of this nature. And so he goes to this village and interviews this girl and gets her story related, but she's like shaking the whole time. She doesn't even want to talk to this guy because he's like a foreigner in her little village. But that's her story. That's what she relates. I mean, when I see it on the news here, it's like it makes media coverage here for sure. It's just like you'll see like a dead body, like with like you can see like bone like on the front of the skull.
Mm.
There's like surgical procedures where organs have been removed for very precision removals, and yeah, bodies discarded. I would say it's happened at least a half dozen times. So that we hear about.
Yeah.
So there's that. That opens all kinds of questions. It's
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I've
yeah.
heard stories about that as well. They kind of do it to like shock, it's part of the adrenochrome harvesting,
Mm,
shock the person as much as they can. Um, yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of these, the Epstein situation. I've heard of public figures, wearing these skins on their face, you know, and parading around with that as if it's some sort of trophy. It's just sick, twisted shit. Don't
it
even,
is sick shit. Absolutely.
I don't even
Even
understand.
reminds me of, like that whole like sub narrative within the Game of Thrones, where it's like the faceless man. It like take people's faces and become those entities and such.
Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like
There's
this
something to
make
that.
common thread and all that. Yeah.
There's something to that. Taking their soul. That went dark real quick. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's an aspect we got to be aware of in the world. I mean, I'd like to think we can protect like, the innocence of the youth and our women and our families and try to, I think the men of our societies need to protect from the darkness out there because there's some very dark things. That's
Absolutely.
awareness is the first step in that.
Yeah, I believe so as well. You probably don't need to know all the gory details, but being aware that it's happening is definitely important. 100%. But yeah, where is the safest place to live on the planet? I don't have an answer at this point in time. Where are all these so all these billionaires that have been building bunkers, what do you know about that?
Couple of things.
Yeah.
I think the more twisted ones get their islands, and there's some islands actually in the Caribbean, not too far from Venezuela and Jamaica and all that in that area. That they have their like yeah billionaire islands that they go to and do whatever their treatments are, all their weird stuff. The other one I hear too is like in Montana, outside of Yellowstone. I know that's a mecca for billionaire and billionaires.
Really?
Kauai, of course,
Hmm.
got your meta guy out there.
Yeah, I've also heard that some are building bunkers in New Zealand, I think on the North Island somewhere. For some reason, like if what's the reasoning? It's like fears of
Oh, yeah.
some
If there's
geological event.
their winter, it's the most protected area in the world from the Gulf, the airstreams.
Mm.
Like you probably still grow food in New Zealand. Probably the South, I think would be better. It's already like built like sheep and
Mm. It is
cows.
quite cold there, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the isolation. I've even heard it been called it'd be like the new promised land for a certain population.
Where? Where did you say?
New Zealand.
South Island. It's definitely beautiful.
But I'd again then too, it's just like you have these bunkers, you have these getaway places around the world. You go spend a few months out of the year in each one of them, kind of like get things going, get the project managers, in alignment with what you want done, and then move on. I think that ideally I would love to have a place like in like northern Italy, honestly,
Mm.
uh, or Romania or, Scotland, perhaps northern Scotland. It's super cold there, I know, but I think that I think it's like that South Island, New Zealand thing. It'll be far enough out of the scope of anybody's interest that you're going to be safe there. That's what I think.
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, if you're self-sustainable, then that's a whole different situation. And you're on land.
Incidences, you're going to have community at some point. Other than that, uh, an island, like years and years ago when I first started this whole journey of like, where's the safe place? The most obvious thing would be like an island in Southeast Asia, Indonesia.
Yeah,
There's tens of thousands of islands,
there is. But I don't know
all
if
of them with
they're
those.
self-sufficient and if you can get clean water.
Yeah, but that's the craziest thing I found about researching islands. Whenever I was looking at islands for sale, that was like that was the very first criteria, right? It has to have fresh water,
Mm.
which I thought would be a challenge to find in all these like small islands in the middle of the salt water. But the crazy thing is, and I don't have a good answer for this, I couldn't find one that didn't have a fresh water source. They
Oh,
all had a small spring on them. No matter how small they were, they had a small freshwater spring, which also raises all kinds of questions that I don't have good answers for. But I found it a very counterintuitive thing. Like, how is that possible?
don't know. Doesn't seem possible at all.
Does not.
No, it's very odd.
It makes me like question like what we know about geology, like what we've been taught.
Sure.
Anyway, so that
Mm.
would be I, I know people that are sailors that would love to have a nice boat that they could usher around for us if we, needed to buy supplies to different ports around the world and ship things here and there. and then also use it as like, travel as well. I think it needs to be a big idea. I don't think there's like a small answer or a simple solution here to this independence and freedom and safety issue.
They have to commandeer a billionaire's island. Like, where's Richard Branson's island? It's in the Caribbean somewhere. Just
There
commandeer.
you keep coming back to the Caribbean, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just the weather for me. It's just the weather thing.
Yeah, there's an island known off of a small island nation actually off of Venezuela. There's several actually, but some of them have like the rated best weather in the world. They avoid all the nasty stuff. They keep pleasant year round. I don't know. I think there's something about setting up a base of operations there too. I was talking to you before the call about like the potential of just setting up a place there.
Yeah, I mean, Venezuela seems it's cheap. It's cheap
Yeah.
for it's still super cheap. It's beautiful. Got a beautiful ocean there. But yeah, I don't know what the infrastructure's like out there. I'm assuming it's like a bit of a third world country at the moment.
Right? Yeah, but it's better actually. It's better than all of South America. From
Really?
what I've experienced in South America, Venezuela has the best
Does it?
infrastructure. Not great. It's not like Canada, something like
Mm.
that, or
Mm.
where you're at. But it's above and beyond anything else I've seen in South America. And it
Okay.
has to do with the oil boom that they had in the late 60s and 70s and early 80s. They were able to capitalize on that. And they had I think right up into like the mid 80s, they had the third largest GDP in the Western Hemisphere. It was the US, Canada, and then Venezuela. They
Really?
beat out Mexico, they beat out Brazil, they beat out Argentina. Um, yeah. So like people there, and the people there, it's all socialist.
Yeah.
So people could work if they wanted to, but there was always government handouts. Gas is pretty much free. Um, Propane is pretty much free. Electrics is free. Water's free. If you don't have housing, government would give you housing. There's food box programs, food programs. So the people there, are happy. They're dancing. They're very festive. They like to focus on just like having a good time, enjoying life, which I almost hold against them. I'm like, what the fuck? Do you think this is just like all cotton candy world out here? Because like after they did the economic sanctions on Venezuela and the Venezuelans started flooding out in the rest of the world, and there's millions of Venezuelans displaced because of that.
Mm.
Um, the conclusion was I've seen is most of them have moved back because they're like, oh shit, the grass isn't greener on the other
Yeah,
side.
right. That's what we
They're
know.
like, oh, you guys pay for water here? You pay for electricity here? What the hell? Like every month? Are you kidding me? Like, yeah. You want how much for a house? That's insane. They just get blown away. They're like, you work your whole life, you never save enough for a house. And so we're going back.
It's true.
And they're right.
It's true
Um,
that your life is not that great.
but how long is that going to happen? We just went and robbed their president and took him out. So we'll probably try to westernize it and
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's probably the best place to buy a house now
yeah.
before it all gets westernized because something's going to happen once they start getting that oil out of the ground. And it kind of seems that's the game plan.
Yeah.
Very convenient. He's gone to liberate the Venezuelans and take control.
Yeah, there's a mixed bag when you talk to the people on the street about it. Most of them are very anti-American. Most of them think that even though a lot of them didn't like Maduro,
Mm.
they approve of the US coming in and taking their president in the middle of the night. They didn't think that was the best way to go about it.
No.
And so even the people that didn't like Maduro are not liking the fact that we did that. So, and who did we put in place? Just the next in line. And she's able to keep her power because she is like at least on the surface, toeing the line of U.S. policy, just allowing them to take the oil. So that's taking place,
Right.
which has put more economic hardships on the locals. But yeah, I think that's all going to change once they open up the borders there to Westerners coming in.
Yeah.
I think that's going
Mm,
to be the banking. They got to get the banking under control. I think the banking's fine the way it is. It's all self-banking. It's like Iran, you know.
mhm.
And
What you think they want to bring in the central bank? Was one of.
oh yeah, why we're battling Iran for sure. That's why we went into Venezuela.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
What else? Libya had their own banking system.
They did. They did. That's what all this is
Yeah,
about,
that's
isn't it?
is get them all on the line. So yeah, once that happens, I think the embassies will go back. Once they get the banking systems in line, they'll go back. So it's like, oh yeah, we want to live in an ideal world, but at the meantime, we got to kind of play the game. So yeah, it's that balance.
Mm. Time will tell. So just start preparing yourself for the next move.
Always, always in a state of preparation.
Yeah, I mean,
In that way, block.
what's a place worth in Venezuela? Like, the ones you've been looking at, like 30,000
Oh
American.
yeah, I mean Falcon.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of wonderful touristy beach communities in that area. I'm focusing in on one of them at the moment. It's got some beautiful little islands right off the coast there you can get to with just a small little boat. And for me, that's where I'm at. I'm like in my early 50s now, right? And
Mm.
at this point, I was like, I don't want to spend many more days not walking on, grounding down on white sand beaches and pleasant water environments.
Mm.
I don't want to spend much more of my life not doing that. So I live in the jungle, and I live in a beautiful place in Peru, in Tingo Maria. It's one of the most beautiful places in Peru, in my opinion. Waterfalls, just beautiful tropics, like, or Amazon, I should say. Like you got all the macaws and the toucans and all the monkeys and everything. So all the fruit. But it's not an easy life. I think living in the Caribbean would be an easier life. But it would also be a place I could take care of myself better. I'd get up in the mornings at 5, go running on the beaches, and just focus on my health there. But yeah, that's what I want to do.
Very good. Like it. Perfect retirement place.
Put myself up a nice office with a nice beach view, waterfront view, and just conduct our schemes and plans from there. Keep rolling with this.
Yeah. Be your layer. Sounds promising. I'll start looking at real estate.
I think that's a good place to like kind of wrap it up for today. Actually, I think that was a good.
Perfect.
Uh,
All right. Cool.
all right,
See
do this
you.
again tomorrow.
Bye bye.
May the fourth be with you.
May the fourth be with you.